I'm Grace Torie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Torie, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. Today's podcast episode is a little ironic, because it is for my anxiety girlies, my girlies who have a hard time living in the present, who get really worried about the future, who just tend to be a little bit more panicked at all times. And why is it ironic? It's because, one, I am a very anxious girly. Two, I literally just had an anxiety attack. So, cool. Just kind of proof that life is not linear. Progress is not linear. You have ups and downs, but the fact that you're trying is the most important part. So, today we are just talking about how to be more present, how to kind of avoid that panic, and things that I do and have implemented into my life to help me with that. So before we jump in, of course, we have to do life updates. Nothing really going on. That's not true, actually. There's a lot going on. But again, it's things I can't tell you yet. But boy, when I tell you, my life is a roller coaster right now. And that's part of the reason I wanted to do this, because I am feeling the panic because of all the chaos going on. And it's not even like a bad chaos. It's just so much is happening at once, and it's exciting, but it's like uncertain. So, you know, change is scary, future is scary, but it's okay. So yeah, that's really it for life updates. I don't think there's literally anything going on in my life right now other than like all the things I can't tell you about, but it's fine. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Let's go ahead and jump on into the episode. Like I mentioned, I have had so many life changes happen in the past year, specifically, but, you know, I tend to panic either way. I've always been very panicky, just a little bit of background. If there's nothing going on, I tend to panic because I feel like I'm not successful or things aren't happening quick enough because I'm not working hard enough or whatever. But then when things are going really fast and there's a lot going on, I panic because I don't know what's going to happen and the future is uncertain, and I start thinking about all the things that can go wrong. So if you're similar to me and you just tend to worry about regardless of what's going on, whether things are good or bad, slow or fast, this is what I do to help with that. It's hard. Anxiety is hard. Stress is hard. Panic is hard. But life is so much sweeter when you just take it as it comes. So this is me learning to take things as they come and hopefully influencing you to do that as well, because girlies, we are finding our peace and our zen in 2023, specifically right now. I typically find that my default state is literally just worry, and that's what makes it so hard, is because I'm having to unlearn the pattern, like the habits, the mindset of just being negative or stressed or scared, because that is literally what my mind defaults to. Like, if I'm not doing anything, I just start worrying about anything that I can possibly worry about. So I imagine you're probably in a similar space, and that's why it's so hard to get out of it, because you're not just stopping being anxious. It doesn't work that way. You're unlearning the way of life that you have lived for so long. So I truly get it. I understand. Again, we are in this together, and I have a list of ways that have significantly helped me kind of unlearn this. And like I said, I have good days and bad days. Like, I was doing really, really well today. It was a pretty good day until just like the slightest thing threw me off, had a little anxiety attack. But I'm back now, and I'm gonna make the most of it. We're gonna have a good day, and everything's fine. Here are some significant ways that have helped me be more in the present, be more positive, and stop stressing. Sorry if you hear barking, my dogs are playing in the other room, and Evie has a lot to say at all times. She's very sassy. Anyway, the first thing I want to talk about, I have mentioned in so many episodes, I'm not even gonna lie. This is just the ultimate game changer. It improves your life so much, whether you're trying to be less anxious, be more positive, manifest things into your life. This is just the first thing you need to do, and that is to adopt a grateful mindset. Obviously, this doesn't happen overnight. Like I said, it's a learned behavior, and in order to have room for it, you have to unlearn other things. But to start, this is what I do. So the first thing I do is on my way to work in the morning. A lot of people like to do it first thing in the morning because it starts your day off the right way. But if you're like me and you're lazy and you wait until the absolute last second to get up in the mornings, I say it on my way to work. It's like a 5-minute drive to work. So the entire time I just dedicate to listing off things out loud that I'm grateful for. So I'll be driving down the street and I'll say, wow, I'm so grateful that it's sunny today. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm grateful I woke up this morning. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family's health, my friends' health, my pet's health, Josh's health. I am so grateful that I'm wealthy. I'm so grateful my podcast is successful. I'm so grateful I'm living my dream life. And I go into things that I'm manifesting. So, like, if I don't have it yet, I still say I'm grateful for it because in my mind, I already have it. Like, it just has to show up in reality. So if you're not into manifesting, you don't have to go that far, obviously. But I like doing it because it gets me excited for the future. Like, when I say, oh, I'm so excited or I'm so grateful I have a disposable income, that just settles my mind and helps me get to that point even though I don't. It kind of motivates me to work even though I'm not there yet. So you can add the manifesting and say you're grateful for things you don't have yet if you want to get yourself into like a more motivated mindset. But the main thing is to kind of call to your attention the things that you're grateful for that you have. So like your family's health, a house, a roof over your head, same thing, food on the table, money to pay your bills. I heard this thing the other day and I can't remember what it was. I can't remember if it's something mainstream that like everyone would hear or not. But either way, if you haven't heard it, or even if you have, just a reminder, I was listening to something and someone was talking about their bills. And they were talking about a mindset shift that they did. And basically, instead of being stressed about their bills every single month and dreading paying them and being like, oh my gosh, I hate doing this, they started looking at it like an exciting thing to pay for by saying like, I am so grateful that I can afford to have electricity, that I can afford to have running water, that I can afford my house, things like that, because I'll admit I've fallen into that trap of being like, I hate paying for bills. All of my money is going towards this. I don't even get to spend my money on anything fun. Like, it's going towards adult boring things. But like, having electricity is not boring. Having air conditioning, not boring. Having Wi-Fi, not boring. Our Wi-Fi is currently down and I'm sad. I'm probably going to have to go upload this at Starbucks at like 8 p.m. So pray for my soul. I might just be sitting in the Starbucks parking lot, but it's fine. It's things you don't think about, but a lot of people in this world presently right now do not have those things. Your car, paying for a car payment sucks. No one wants to do that, but a car is a luxury. So looking at it through that mindset, like I am so grateful that I have the luxury of being able to watch whatever I want because I pay for the streaming network, or being able to change or take a bath because I pay for running water. Like, I don't know, it just changed my mindset, but that is just one of those things you don't think about. Just being grateful for everything that is in your life, even those things, like I said, you don't think about, you take for granted. It changes your mindset. So I definitely say things I'm grateful for every morning, and then I also try and say it at night before I go to bed. So gratitude is definitely a step in the right direction. Trying to incorporate it more into your life, but it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but even after a couple days, I notice a big difference. So the next thing kind of goes hand in hand with it. It's just meditating. So a lot of people think meditating means you put your hands, in like a certain position, you sit cross-legged, you say Om a couple times, and then all of a sudden your life is better. That's not what meditation is, or that's not what I consider meditation to be. I consider meditation to be anything where you are in a meditative state, where your mind is focused on one thing, you're sorting through your thoughts, and you are drowning out all of the busyness, distractions around you. So you can be laying in bed deep in thought. It is motorcycle season. I keep seeing so many motorcycles drive by my window. Okay, sorry, not to change the subject. You can be driving and just, a lot of people subconsciously drive without even realizing it. Like, you're never actually thinking about driving when you drive. You usually just drive. I don't know if that made any sense, but when you're thinking about all the things going on and sorting through your problems while driving, you're in a meditative state. Is that safe? No. Do I recommend it? No. Do you do it? Probably. My favorite way to meditate is before bed. I turn on a meditation. I've talked about this in previous episodes, like very recently. Turn on a meditation, and sort through my thoughts. And the meditations I use, you got to be very careful because there are subliminals, and subliminals are a thing, but I trust the person I use, and she has some for removing negative thoughts, letting go of the past, letting go of trauma, bringing in abundance, whatever it may be. And I like those because I focus on whatever she's talking about, and it allows me to do those exercises, and I do feel relieved after, and it helps me sleep. Honestly, I feel so calm after. So meditating is a game changer because it puts you in the present and helps you sort through all the things in your mind that you don't want to deal with, and you think of it through a new light because of the way that she says things. It's very enlightening. But like I said, if that's not your kind of meditating, you can just sit in nature and listen to the sounds, and whatever comes to mind, you kind of sort through, or you can let it pass if you're working on being present. There's so many different ways to meditate, and I really encourage you to dive into it and find the way that works best for you personally. But on that same note, as soon as I'm done meditating, when I'm in like a sleepy state about to go to bed, I list things off I'm grateful for. And I don't always say them out loud at night, just because I'm about to go to bed and I'm like in that sleepy headspace, and I don't want to kind of ruin it by talking out loud. And also, Josh is usually in the room and I get shy. So I just say it in my head as I'm drifting off to sleep, and it puts me, the last thing I think about before I go to bed is how grateful I am. And I think that definitely makes a huge difference. So you aim for it to be the first thing and last thing you think about, and then you try and incorporate it in between when you can. But the first and last thing are the two most important when starting out. So the next thing that I do is try and schedule fun activities when I'm feeling stressed. So for example, yesterday was not the best day at work. It was really long. I was really stressed out. I was having technical issues and ready to throw my computer out the window. Shout out to Mercury retrograde. Is that still going on? I need to get back on my star things. Not my phone going off. That's nice. Very professional of me. But anyways, I'm getting off track. After having a really bad day yesterday, I could have just gone home, gone to bed, and powdered about it, which at some point I probably would have done that. Like, probably last week, before I really got on this I'm bettering myself thing, I would have just cried and gone to bed because I like to just cut my losses and try again the next day. I don't know. When I get upset or too stressed out, I just, like, go to bed. That's, like, my remedy for everything. And I'm like, it'll be fine when I wake up, which is a very Taurus thing of me, not to bring astrology into this, but I just, sleep is my cure-all. So instead of doing that, it was a beautiful day outside. I was driving home with the windows down, and yesterday was Josh's off day, so he was already at home, and he usually works till pretty late. So I decided we were going to go to dinner, and we were going to eat outside on a patio, and we were going to have a dinner with our phones put away, where we are just enjoying each other's presence, because we get very busy. The two of us are very busy. And so when we are together, like at night or whatever, like when we come together, about to go to bed, we're on our phones, we're asleep, we're not taking conscious time to be together, talk to each other. We're listening, and it's in one ear and out the other. So I really wanted to go on a date where we set aside time to talk to each other about our feelings, whatever is going on in our head, all the crazy things happening in our life right now. So I did that. And I honestly probably shouldn't have done that because I'm very stressed about money. So eating out right now is not the thing. But instead of being super stressed about money, I knew that it would be fine. It's only, $30 or whatever. And we will be fine. I can't stress about it. It's going to be worth it because of how it's going to make me feel. And is it something I can do every day? No, but I can treat myself, if that makes sense. So just trying to find fun things to do when I start to panic, or when I start to notice I'm going into an anxiety attack state, because I usually can tell when I'm going to have an anxiety attack, a mentee V, if you will. And this stops that, or helps it. So trying to keep myself busy with fun, exciting activities that genuinely make me happy or bring a smile to my face, whether they're going out or doing something at home that's not expensive, are key. Like, I came home and I played with the dogs in their sprinkler in their pool before I did this, and I was like stressing about this because I didn't know how long it would take me, how much time I would have. I'm a planner, so I stress about things that I know are going to take me a long time, and I don't know how long it's going to take me. But instead of stressing, I knew that it would be better for me to take a second, breathe in, not panic, and spend some time with the pups before doing this, and it would put me in a better headspace, so I'd show up better for you guys. And it's like a domino effect, you know? If I'm doing a podcast but I'm in a horrible mood, I don't feel like that's the best thing for you guys. I don't want my like negative energy to rub off on you. So, yeah, I don't like to do the podcast when I'm sad, just a side note, or stressed. So, doing that just really helped. Next is, I've kind of already talked about this, but just being more positive, taking things and looking at them through a more positive outlook, not just being negative all the time. It's really easy to look at something and be like, this is what's going to go wrong. But instead of doing that, I'm being optimistic, and I really don't know how to narrow down positivity with examples for you guys because it's very general, but I feel like it should be like just any way that you can be more positive, do it, you know? Like that's where I'm going with this. Shift to a more positive mindset than a negative, which is kind of an overall thing that all of these tips will help with, but positivity in general, just working towards it helps. Another thing that is kind of a game changer is I have adopted a what's meant to be will be attitude. So if something goes wrong, meh, what's meant to be will be. If something goes right, cool, what's meant to be will be. Don't get so hung up on it that it becomes my sun, my moon, and my stars. My world revolves around this thing happening. If it doesn't happen, it wasn't meant to be, and it's fine. Like, what's meant to be will be, whether you want it to or not. What is meant to happen is going to happen, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Not to, I hope that doesn't scare you, but what you are meant to do in your life, you're going to end up doing, regardless of if you want to do it or not. Also, I truly believe that God or the universe, whatever you choose to believe in, put a desire on your heart because you're meant to do it. He wouldn't give you this crazy desire to be a nurse or to be a teacher or to podcast if it's not what you're meant to be doing. And maybe it's more general. Like for me, I have a huge desire on my heart to inspire people to be better, like to improve themselves, to see the positive in life when it doesn't seem possible. That is just what my heart does, whether that's through podcasting, YouTube, whatever platform I choose to do it on. That's what my overall desire is. And I think that God wouldn't have put that on my heart if it wasn't meant to be and I wasn't going to be successful in it. So I choose to believe that, and I think that helps a lot as well. So what's meant to be is going to be. What is meant to happen is going to happen, and just vibe. Just straight vibes. If something goes wrong, it's because something amazing is coming along and it's setting up for it, you know? Next, what I started doing is questioning why things actually upset me and if it even matters. Like, for example, if there's a Karen, I get so mad at Karens. It's probably because I work in customer service that, like, I notice it more. But say there's a Karen that cuts me off on the road. I get so pissed off. Not even road rage. I just get so angry and I'm like, why would she do that? Why would she cut me off? What is so important that she needs to cut someone off on the road? She can't wait 2 seconds. Da-da-da-da. And that's not okay. Like, no, we don't, like, why does that matter? Why does her cutting me off matter so much to me? And why am I actually upset? And honestly, if you get to the bottom of it, it probably has something to do with people pushing me around, and I'm working on not being a people pleaser. So, like, someone cutting me off on the road kind of, to me, feels like they see me as lesser than. And so it upsets me because of that, because I'm trying to not feel that way, because I'm used to people viewing me like I'm less than them and they can push me around. So not to get all therapy on you guys, but that's, like, the deeper meaning. But in the end, like, it actually does not matter if she cut me off. Like, wish her the best and move on. Karma is real. It's not worth your time. And that's kind of been something I've been diving deeper into, is what is the root cause of why I'm so upset? And should I actually be upset? Doesn't matter. Next is I've been really just vibing with the Pinterest boards because they keep my eye on the prize. When I start getting anxious, if I look at a Pinterest board and it has my dream life on it, it gives me a sense of calm. I probably have hundreds of Pinterest boards. I have workout Pinterest boards, dream life, dream house, wedding, food, summer outfits, winter outfits. I make a vision board for every single month. I love Pinterest. And by making Pinterest boards down to the month, it shows me exactly what my goals are for that month. What do I want to do this month? If I look at my May, there's a lot of me walking the dogs. I'm hoping my car comes in. The podcast is a big theme, spending time with friends. And if I look at my Pinterest board and see that, it makes me so happy. And it also reminds me of what my goals are. And it kind of keeps my eye on the prize. Like, I can look at that and be like, okay, that's actually what matters. That's the goals I'm working towards. Everything else is just like background noise, extra, not the vibe. So that is a big part of why I do Pinterest boards. That's my iPad making that noise, and I don't know how to turn the sound off because I am illiterate. So that's why Josh is texting me and asking me like important questions, so I have to respond, and then he's texting me back. But RIP, so sorry. Another thing that I do, which could kind of go along with like why does it matter, is I question what is the worst that could actually happen. Because bad things can happen. I mean, really bad things can happen. But even if they do, you're still kicking it. Like, not that I do anything to put these at risk, but examples of bad things that could happen that are truly actually not the end of the world. You get fired. You get evicted. You don't have money. Those are all I can think of right now. But what, you get fired? Just get a new job. You get evicted? It may be hard, but you can live with your family for a little while till you find a new place. What was the other one? You lose money. It's really not that hard to make money. It's hard to make a lot of money, but it's not hard to make a little bit of money. And if there's a will, there's a way. You can always download the McDonald's app and get a free burger for the day or whatever their deal is. Find some fast foods apps, download the free deal for the day, keep it moving. Like, there is always a way. So the worst that could happen is not actually the worst that can actually happen. The things that actually matter are things you can't control or fix, such as your health, living on earth, time with family, family's lives, pets' lives, friendships. That's like the things that are like really, really important, that you have a say in, but if something bad happens, it's a lot harder to fix it. So the things that we tend to think about and stress about in the day-to-day really don't matter that much. You're 10 minutes late to work. What's going to happen? Nothing. Honestly, if you told them you were stuck in traffic, they'd probably be like, it's fine, just don't do it again, you know? Like, things that you can have full-blown anxiety attacks about. I have, as a girl with anxiety, they actually don't matter that much. The absolute worst thing that could happen is really not that bad because you're still kicking it, you know? I don't know if that's a good outlook to have, but for me, it's helped me so much. And just knowing what's meant to be is going to be. Like, if I'm meant to not live here and live somewhere else, then that's what's going to happen. So, like, whatever, vibe it out. Next is I have been breaking my goals down to small objectives and then celebrating the little wins. So, for example, I would love for this podcast to be super big, full-time job, massive, because that means I get to inspire so many women to reach their goals and be the best version of themselves and find that dream that they're chasing and meet it. Like, that is all I want in life. That is my ultimate goal, is for this to be a big thing. Which, if you want to leave a rating and review, follow, subscribe, all the things, you know, this will be a good time to do that. Totally kidding, but if you want to, I wouldn't mind. But that being said, it's not going to happen overnight. It could. Okay, actually, I take that back. Something could go viral and it could happen overnight. And I'm holding on to hope. However, I can't hang my hat on it happening overnight and then get upset with myself if something doesn't happen overnight. But what I can do is make small goals that I can meet. Like, every time I post an episode, it gets more views than the last one. Meeting every 2 weeks, my metrics, like, show me how many views I got for those 2 weeks. So I like for that to be constantly on an upward trend. Getting more followers on social media, posting a certain amount. There's little metrics I can make that I meet. And if I meet those, I get to celebrate with some sort of small thing, whether it's watching a movie, going and getting ice cream, whatever it is. And you can do that with all of your goals. You ate 80-20 this whole week and stuck to your meal plan. Girly, go get you an ice cream with your friends. Go out to the bar. Do whatever. Like, there are small goals you can make that meet that overall goal that you are reaching towards if it's super large. For example, I would like to be a millionaire. Could I be a millionaire right now? I mean, never say never. But I can start saving up money, and then once I get to a certain amount, congratulate myself. And that's going to motivate me to save money instead of eating out. That's going to motivate me to push myself to work even harder so I can make even more shmoney and then put that in the bank account, you know? Like, there are little things that add up to the big things. Little habits build up to the big habits. So a big thing, this is the first thing I do when I start to get stressed, is I get off social media and stop comparing myself to anybody else. If I remove myself from society for a little while, I start to calm down, because I don't know what everybody else is doing and how well they're doing, how poor they're doing, whatever it is. Ignorance is bliss. If I start to feel like I'm behind in life, I just cut myself off from the world. Obviously, I'm still like talking to friends and stuff, but I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on TikTok. Well, I'm still on TikTok. I'm not looking at them achieve these amazing things and then being upset because I haven't achieved it, or I didn't do it the same way they did, or whatever. So getting off of social media is a huge game changer. Also, stop comparing in real life. I'm not saying to stop caring, but really, like, stop going out of your way to really dive into and ask about people's achievements. Like, obviously, if someone does something great, congratulate them. But don't torture yourself and ask them about it if it's not, like, the right thing to do. Like, you know how... I'm trying to think of how to say this. Say someone does something, you hear about it, the typical thing to do is to reach out and congratulate them. That is like a courtesy thing. So, like, yeah, do that. But don't go out of your way to be like, so what's your progress on this thing? And then start comparing yourself. If you mentally cannot do that, then don't. I don't think they're really going to care if you ask them about that or not, unless it's like a thing where, like I said, it's a courtesy thing, or you're close enough that they expect you to. Like, that's when it gets trippy. But if if they don't expect you to, don't ask. Stop comparing. The overall arching thing is to stop comparing. Ignorance is bliss. Live in your own lane. Stay in your lane, and don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it, Chief. You got it. Keep on cruising. So a big thing for me is that I'm really stubborn. And I also don't think that anyone cares about my emotions, which is probably an underlying trauma I should go see a therapist about. So I like to hide my emotions. And being stubborn, so not wanting to tell someone something, and also hiding my emotions leads to a large amount of self-sabotaging where I don't communicate my feelings. One thing I have been doing to stop this is fight through that icky feeling of not wanting to do it and communicate how I'm feeling anyway. Who cares? Put your pride aside, put your ego aside, and communicate your feelings as soon as you feel them. Obviously, don't get like super granular and be petty. Like, you still need to have a certain level of boundaries where things don't bother you. But if you strongly are upset about something or strongly feel a certain way about something, talk it out in an adult manner with someone, the person it affects. Like, Josh and I have had so many good conversations lately as we talk through our feelings. I've been talking to my mom about my feelings if something bothers me about her or the family, which it usually doesn't, but there's been a time or two where I've had to be like, hey, I'm not vibing with this. Just communicating how you feel and having someone who validates the way you feel, who listens and validates you, is the best, healthiest feeling in the world. I promise you, like, communicate and tell them they need to hear you out. If they aren't the type of person, like, Josh and I both love to talk, so we both have a hard time listening, but saying to him, hey, I really need you to listen and take me seriously. This is actually something I'm really upset about, or I'm really struggling with, or whatever, and just, taking starting the conversation with, I really need you to hear me out and allow me to finish what I'm saying before you give advice is super, super helpful, and just communicating. It's crazy how that changes things. So last thing I want to say, I'm sure there's 1,000 more tips I have, but the last one I have is kind of, you're going to hear this and be like, well, duh, but how? Just stop caring so much. Life is literally just a game. It's just a vibe. We're just vibing it out. It's just a game. Your world won't end if everything doesn't fit together perfectly the way that you imagined it. And you are literally only a human being. You cannot do all these superhuman things that you are trying to do if you're a perfectionist like myself. I hear it. I feel you. I see you. But you are only one human being. You can only get so much done in a day. And on top of that, you have to still eat, sleep, make sure you're healthy, work out, get all your things done, have social interaction, all the healthy things, like the wellness wheel. You still need to cater to all those sections of wellness. Look that up if you don't know what it is. Very important. You're a human. You can't just work 24/7 to achieve your goals. You can't just be anxious 24/7 about the things that you can't control, because you can't control certain things. That's just part of the experience. So stop caring so much. You can only do so much, and life is just life. It's just not that deep. The game of life, if you will. So that is all I have for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. You got something out of it. If you have any more tips for stop being so anxious and living more in the present, go ahead and comment them down below if you can. If not, let me know on Instagram and TikTok at thatgirlthepod. I would love to talk about it because I need all the tips I can get. Like I said, I hope these tips still helped you in some way, though. If you try them, also let me know how they go. But I think that's it. I upload every single Sunday and Wednesday. If you're watching this on a Wednesday night, hope you have a great night. If you're watching this at any other time, I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or night. I will see you in my next podcast episode. I love you so, so much. I keep hitting the mic. Like I mentioned, don't forget to leave a rating and review if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Blow this podcast up so we can all be besties. Also, share it with your best friend right now. You know you want to. Share it with your favorite anxious gal. You know you want to. We're all here vibing, trying to get through life, and it can be hard sometimes. But having a community makes it a little bit better. So, I love you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.